So, question. What is the NDA when it comes to businesses and mostly entertainment like animation, live action, movies, television shows, comics? What is it? What does the NDA stand for? The NDA, and in case you guys don't notice, I'm doing this on the fly right now, unscripted. But the NDA basically stands for non-disclosure agreement. What does that mean? Well, in simplified, if not technical terms, the non-disclosure agreement is kind of like a contract or an agreement that you shake on or you sign your name to that states that you agree not to say anything or to spill the beans to anybody, no matter how hard pressed you get with questions by outside sources, whether it be media outlets like news, tabloids, or in some cases fans. You're basically tied to an agreement until further notice. This basically explains why Jim Miller at one point stated to a fan on Twitter that the main six would never romantically get involved with anyone. Yet, his answer is complete horse potty, if you will, or horse caca, if you will. No offense. But basically, it doesn't. His answer basically to that fan about the main six getting romantically involved and him saying that would never happen, it doesn't add up, because what we see in the show is the complete opposite. I mean, if you go back to Newbie Dash and you see Rainbow impersonating Rarity, what is the first thing she does when she does that? She flirts with Soren, basically further adding fuel to the whole Soren Rainbow Dash attraction that was basically, if you think about it, established in the season 1 finale. And then you take a look at other scenarios. Let's take a look at Twilight herself. You go back to Equestria Girls, and during the movie, and even towards the end, who does Twilight get attracted to, and vice versa? Flash Sentry. She gets attracted to the human Flash Sentry, and then when she returns back to Canterlot, or to the Crystal Empire, she bumps into the pony version of Flash Sentry and gets attracted to him there. So, if Twilight, along with the rest of the main six, wasn't supposed to have any kind of romantic interest or fall in love of any kind, then what do you call what Rainbow Dash did, and what do you call what happened with, before that, what do you call what's going on with Twilight and Flash Sentry? The point is, the reason Jim Miller brings up those kind of things, or gives us those kind of answers, is because he can't really say what's going to be. He can't tell us the truth. The same goes for Megan McCarthy when she worked on the show, Nicole Dubuc, who's working on the show now, Josh Haber, the lady writers Christine and Joanne, Gail Simone. Even the people like M.A. Larson and Amy Kinney Rogers, when they worked on the show, they couldn't really tell the fans a straight answer because they were locked into an NDA agreement. You know, Amy couldn't tell anybody that Crusaders of the Lost Mark was going to be when the CMCs were going to get their cutie marks. Even if fans pestered her and said, oh, do you know when it's going to happen? When are they going to get it? When are they going to get it? She couldn't say. She'd have to basically tell them, oh, my NDA prevents me from saying so. Or she would have to say something along the lines of, I can't say, but it may be later down the line. It might be a couple seasons from now. She couldn't say that within that season, even if somebody asked her that question, it was going to happen right then and there. She couldn't say it. And that's, I think, what frustrates a lot of fans. A lot of fans see the exact opposite of what's being basically debated or declined or not given a full straight answer right in front of their eyes. So when Jim Miller says to a fan that the main six would never romantically get involved, and yet fans see them flirting or being attracted to the opposite sex, if you will, in the series, they know that's complete BS on Jim's behalf. And Jim knows that. Jim knows that's BS on his behalf because of the fact that he's locked into an NDA agreement. You know, further proof is Spike and Rarity. You know, ever since the beginning of the show, this has been a ship that's been teased, hinted at, built upon, had kind of a cooling off period for a bit, has been rebuilt back up since season 8, as well as with the season 8.5 episode slash holiday special best gift ever. And then what you're getting, and then basically a moment that you're getting in between dark and dawn in a couple of weeks, the mid-season finale, as well as that little embrace they had underneath the castle of Princess Celestia, that little embrace that Rarity and Spike had. Of course, Fluttershy also kind of embraced her too, but you kind of get the idea. I mean, just the expression that Rarity gave a little bit afterwards is very telling. The point is, you look at something like Spike and Rarity, along with Twilight and Flash, Rainbow and Soren, heck, Fluttershy and Discord. I mean, Spike himself calls it out in Breakdown about Discord always wanting to spend time with Fluttershy, as if that's not an indication that, yeah, Discord looks at Fluttershy as more than just a friend. And then you take a look at what Discord did in the second part of the season 9 premiere. The point is, the reason Jim can't give a straight answer about whether or not members of the main 7 will romantically get involved with other characters, or, in the case of Spike and Rarity, with each other, is because he'd be basically breaking his agreement. He'd be breaking his promise. And thus, by doing so, he would basically get himself fired, tossed off the team. And that, in a sense, he would have to carry that situation with him for who knows how long. I mean, getting a job with another animation studio or a job working on another series could be very hard, could maybe not be so hard, but be difficult or somewhat difficult to get, because the people working on that series would hear about what he did while he was working on Friendship is Magic and wouldn't be too sure whether or not they could trust him. I mean, even if they brought him on board, they'd probably put him on a probationary period for about 90 days or a year to make sure they can trust him. The point is what Jim Miller, Josh Haber, Nicole Dubuc, Joanna Christine, the lady writers, Gail Simone, and even those that have worked on the series in the past, Megan McCarthy, Amy Kinney Rogers, M.A. Larson, and even Lauren Faust herself, the reason they could never tell us anything straight up is because of the NDA agreement. And I know that frustrates a lot of fans, because we pretty much see it with our own eyes, or we could see it coming a mile away before it happens. You know, when I used to be a subscriber to the Archie Sonic the Hedgehog comic book, when it was under the Archie Comics license, the one thing that frustrated, I believe, Ian Flynn, in my opinion, wasn't just, you know, the fact that I would post reviews and stuff, you know, on his message board, and that would frustrate him. And that kind of got me banned. But I think what frustrated him is me being a long-time subscriber and a long-time fan of the Sonic franchise, dating back not just to the beginning of the video game series itself, but mostly to the Sat AM series, is the fact that I was able to see what was going to come next. I was able to predict it. Heck, when I would type up stuff, you know, when I would type up and actually not do a video, but type up stuff on his message board, I would type up basically what I saw coming, and then he would either give me a warning or he would remove it because I saw basically what was going to come before it got published. So the point is, I was basically breaking an NDA rule, and I wasn't under any NDA rule or agreement. I was basically breaking an NDA agreement, and I wasn't under any, because I could see what was coming. And that's how we, as the fans, and a lot of the fans besides myself, feel. We can kind of see what's going to happen. We kind of see what's going on. We kind of predict what's going. We kind of can predict what direction they may go. But the reason they can't straight out tell us that whether we're right or we're wrong is because of the NDA agreement, the non-disclosure agreement. So, yeah. For Jim Miller or Megan McCarthy in the past to come out and say this is not going to happen, but we see the exact opposite, is because of the NDA agreement, and they know it. But what do you guys think? Do you think the NDA agreement is something that should be fully forced on to not just the creative staff, but on the fans? Or do you think the creative staff, when they're not working, should at least have the freedom to kind of give us hints, clues as to maybe the fact that we could be on the right trail of something? Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. Again, what are your thoughts on the NDA situation? And I'll talk to y'all later.